back. It is Friday, June the 1st, 6 degrees if you're just heading out the door. And he is a young, innovative, green entrepreneur and the winner of the University of Calgary's Graduate of the Last Decade Award. After Nick Blitterswyk graduated from the U of C in 2004, he went on to co-found the company Urban Green Energy. It's become a leading green energy company operating across the globe. And Nick joins us this morning. Thanks so much for coming in. Congratulations on the award you accepted last night. Phenomenal. And I want to start with showing the people at home this amazing design of a wind turbine. And this is sort of what your company's based on. So just tell us about, well, we'll pan a little while till we get to another one, but tell us about this design and how you came to it.
Yeah, sounds good. So the wind turbine is a vertical axis wind turbine, and the design is very efficient, very quiet, very durable, and also happens to look pretty nice too.
It's beautiful. It's like a piece of art. I mean, how much of that came into play when you were designing this?
I certainly think that that's part of it. I think that our belief from day one is that it has to be something people desire, people want as well, so we tried to kind of bring all those different features together.
Very different from what Southern Albertans are used to seeing in terms of a wind turbine. Talk about some of the differences. We're obviously used to seeing them much bigger. Is there a massive difference in what this is intended for and the sort of energy it can produce?
Yeah, well, you know, on a small scale, and actually the picture there, you can see a few other types of wind turbines in the background. Our type of design, it can take wind from any direction, which we feel is really important on a small scale. On a small scale, wind is always switching directions. And then also, you know, things like quiet. Nobody wants to have to hear it and so on. So I think on a small scale, vertical axis really makes a lot of sense.
And more focused, as I understand it, sort of in an urban setting.
You know, the company's name, Urban Green Energy, I was based in New York City when we started the company, and that was a lot of the inspiration. But to be honest, about 10% of our installations now are urban.
Yeah.
So we do even like remote installations in Africa now. It's
Oh,
really
wow.
widespread.
Installed all over the world. I mean, talk a little bit about how this has grown for you in a very short period of time.
Yeah, you know, really we kind of commercialized at the beginning of 2010. Started the company a couple years before that. But, you know, in that time we've, I guess, just found a real appetite for what we're doing. And so now we're really in over 60 countries around the world and growing fast.
It's a great story as well in terms of how you decided to pursue this. You'd been to the University of Calgary for actuarial science. Talk about that moment that you decided this was a direction that you wanted to go.
Yeah, well, you know, so I moved to New York 2004 after I graduated, and I think over a couple of years I just kept seeing things that kind of reminded me that we weren't living in a very sustainable world, and I really wanted to do something that made a difference. So probably throughout 2007, did a lot of research into what was out there. Saw small wind as an area that I think needed innovation and had a lot of room for innovation. And yeah, it's funny, I came home from work one day and said to my wife, I think we started a clean tech company. And much to my surprise, she said yes, and we took off from there.
Finally, Nick, reaction to this award. You come back after a few years, obviously being away from the U of C. What was it like to come back and to be honored? I mean, graduate of the decade, there are a lot of very smart people that graduate from that school, very successful people, to be honored like that. How was that last night?
It really is an honor. I mean, I can't thank them enough, and I'm humbled to be even in that group. But it's great to be back in Calgary. I mean, it's a lovely city. I wish I could be back here more, and hopefully I'll come back here more. But yeah.
Well, congratulations. Obviously leading the charge when it comes to green energy. Very cool to see. Very cool to have it someone who graduated from right here in Calgary. So thanks so much for coming in.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.
Okay. That is Nick Blitterswyk. He's the winner of the University of Calgary's Graduate of the Decade Award. It is 7 o'clock. You're watching CTV Morning Live.